Listen to me very carefully. If you understand this moment, your entire financial destiny will shift. There are things that cannot be explained by logic, yet they are more real than the air you breathe. You've been told to chase money, to run after success, to grab what seems to slip away. But I tell you, stop chasing. Just for these 2 minutes. Stop. Be still. Because what you are running after is already trying to find you. There is a spiritual law that governs manifestation. Money does not respond to effort alone, it responds to state. When your emotions are in turmoil, you send confusion into the realm of provision. But when your heart is calm, when your spirit is unshaken, heaven begins to organize what belongs to you. Many pray for abundance, but are secretly afraid of lack. They give offerings, but their hands tremble with fear. My friend, God cannot fill a clenched fist. Open your hand, release your fear, detach from the result. When you no longer need money to prove your worth, money will appear to confirm your faith. You see, detachment is not losing desire. It is rising above it. It is saying, I already have what I seek, though I do not yet see it. And the moment your soul agrees with that truth, the invisible becomes visible. The unseen becomes tangible. There is power in quiet confidence. When your mind is anchored in peace, you become a spiritual magnet. Opportunities, ideas, resources, they are drawn to peace, not panic. The wind of provision blows toward those who have learned to rest while believing. Do not tell anyone this, because most people would not understand. They believe money comes by struggle, but you are about to witness it come by surrender. When your spirit releases control, heaven releases abundance. Stand still, and you will see it appear, not by striving, but by faith. True wealth begins in the unseen realm. Before money appears in your hand, it must first appear in your spirit. When most people think of wealth, think of numbers, possessions, and opportunities that can be measured and seen. They look outward to their job, their business, their investments, and they believe that is where abundance begins. But those who have walked closely with the Spirit understand a different law. The outer world only mirrors the inner one. Everything visible is born from the invisible. Every manifestation begins as a thought, a belief, a vision. Before gold appears, there must be faith. Before money comes, there must be spiritual creation. The problem is that many try to receive on the outside what they have never received on the inside. They ask for prosperity, but carry poverty in their hearts. They pray for opportunities, but secretly doubt they are worthy of them. They declare abundance, but imagine lack. They are speaking one language with their lips, but another with their spirit. The universe listens to the deeper voice, the voice of inner belief, not outer confession. If your spirit still feels peace, or no amount of money can make you rich, you will spend, fear, lose, or chase again. Because wealth is not sustained by effort, it is sustained by identity. To become truly prosperous, you must first become wealth conscious. That does not mean arrogance or greed. It means you begin to see yourself as already provided for, already favored, already sustained by a source that never runs dry. When you see from that place, you no longer ask from desperation, you ask from completion. And heaven responds differently to that kind of request. Faith does not start when you see money. Faith starts when you see without money, when you walk into an empty room and your spirit still whispers, I am surrounded by provision. That is when heaven begins to move. When you hold a small seed and believe you are holding a forest, that is when the unseen begins to clothe itself in form. The invisible world is not a fantasy. It is the blueprint of the visible. God Himself created everything by speaking to what could not be seen. The divine pattern has not changed. Creation always begins in the invisible. There are people who have tried for years to build businesses, ministries, and careers, and they keep wondering why doors close. It is because their inner vision contradicts their outer confession. They say, I believe, but inside they see failure. They say, I trust, but inside they feel fear. The spirit world does not respond to words. It responds to vibration, alignment, and belief. The energy of lack repels supply. The energy of faith attracts it. You can pray for provision all day long, but until your inner atmosphere changes, nothing external will to change your outer reality. You must first sit quietly and change the pictures you hold inside. Stop rehearsing the past. Stop repeating the story of lack and struggle. Begin to imagine yourself as one who already has access, one who already walks in overflow. See yourself paying your bills easily, blessing others freely, living without fear. The mind cannot differentiate between imagination and reality. What you consistently visualize with faith becomes a spiritual prototype. And once the prototype exists in the unseen, the seen world has no choice but to align. That is why you must protect your inner world with diligence. Guard your thoughts the way a king guards his treasure. Every negative thought is a thief. Every fear is a door left open for doubt to enter. When you meditate on scarcity, you magnetize scarcity. When you meditate on abundance, you magnetize abundance. The law of the Spirit is simple but profound. Whatever dominates your inner sight will eventually manifest in your outer life. Some will say, but I have been thinking positively for years and nothing has happened. The truth is, thinking is not the same as believing. Thinking touches the mind, believing roots in the spirit. The mind can say, I am rich, while the spirit whispers, I am afraid. And the spirit always wins. Transformer begins when belief replaces fear, not by effort, but by surrender. You stop trying to convince yourself, and you begin to rest in the reality of divine supply. Wealth in the unseen realm is a quiet knowing, a peace that says, I have everything I need even if my eyes do not yet see it. It is that peace that opens the gate to provision. When you stop seeing money as your master and start seeing it as your servant, you step into dominion. Money follows order, and order begins in the spirit. The world around you reorganizes itself to match the frequency of your inner truth. This is why the most powerful shift you can make is not in your career or your strategy, but in your consciousness. When you wake up each day aware that you are already connected to divine supply, you stop chasing and start attracting. You speak differently. You walk differently. You make decisions without fear. And suddenly, doors begin to open that logic cannot explain. Because what you have already created in the unseen realm must appear in time. It is not a matter of chance, but of spiritual law. Emotional detachment is not indifference, it is spiritual authority. The ability to release what you desire proves you already possess it within. Most people misunderstand detachment. They think it means not caring, turning cold, or walking away from their desires. But spiritual detachment is not the absence of passion, it is the mastery of it. It is the ability to hold a vision in your heart without allowing fear, doubt, or obsession to control it. It is knowing that what is yours cannot be lost, and what is not yours cannot be forced. This is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength, because only those who trust deeply can let go. Attachment is born from insecurity. It is the voice that says, if I don't hold tightly, it will leave me. That voice does not come from faith, it comes from fear. When you cling to something, a dream, a person, an opportunity, you send out the inner jai of lack. You are silently declaring, I don't believe this can come to me freely. And that belief itself blocks the flow. Detachment, on the other hand, is a declaration of abundance. It says, even if I let this go, I cannot lose, because the source of all good is within me. To be detached is to be centered in truth. It means your peace no longer depends on circumstances. When things go well, you are grateful. When they don't, you remain calm because you know nothing external has the power to define your worth or your destiny. This state of being does not come from denial, it comes from revelation. You begin to see life as a flow, not something to control, but something to align with. You realize that when you stop gripping so tightly, life begins to breathe again. Opportunities find you more easily because your spirit is open, not tense. True detachment allows manifestation to happen naturally. It is like planting a seed. You bury it, water it, and walk away in confidence. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the unseen process. The same is true for your dreams. Once you have prayed, once you have believed, you must release it. Constant worry is a signal of unbelief. But when you release, you are saying, I trust the timing, I trust the process, and I trust the source. That posture of faith invites miracles. Emotional detachment is also freedom from emotional manipulation. You no longer react to everything that happens around you. You choose your responses with wisdom. You don't beg for validation or chase approval because your identity is anchored in something eternal. You carry peace like a crown, and that peace is magnetic. It draws favor, success, and provision. When you detach emotionally, you rise above the noise of the world. You stop being moved by appearances and start being guided by inner knowing. The more you release control, the more power you carry. Because authority does not come from striving, it comes Ram, resting in the certainty that everything you need already exists within the unseen realm, waiting for your calm confidence to call it forth. Faith is not begging, it is creating. When your inner vision is complete, the outer world must obey. Many people mistake faith for pleading. They cry, they shout, they repeat prayers again and again, believing that the more they ask, the more God will hear them. But true faith does not beg, it builds. It is not a desperate request, it is a divine decree. Faith sees the end before the beginning. It does not wait for evidence, it becomes the evidence. When your spirit conceives a vision so clearly that you can feel it, taste it, and see it within, creation has already begun. The outer world is simply catching up to what the spirit has finished. Begging comes from uncertainty. It says, maybe God will do it, maybe He won't. But faith speaks from completion. It is done. When you beg, you position yourself as powerless, hoping for mercy. Wow. You create through faith. You stand in the authority of divine partnership. You are not commanding God, you are agreeing with Him. You align your mind, your words, and your emotions with His promise until there is no space for doubt. And when there is no doubt, creation manifests itself through you. Everything that exists today, every invention, building, and idea, first existed in someone's inner vision. That invisible moment of belief was the act of creation. The spirit imagined it, the heart believed it, and the hands brought it forth. The same principle applies to divine provision. When your faith becomes a clear picture in your spirit, the world must rearrange itself to match that vision. You cannot see with divine clarity and remain empty. The seen world is a servant to the unseen. Faith creates by alignment, not by effort. It is not about how much you can do, but about how deeply you can believe. When your belief and your emotion are one, your words carry power. You no longer pray with anxiety. You speak with peace. You no longer ask for blessings. You release them. You no longer wait for miracles. You expect them. The energy of creation flows from certainty, not desperation. When your inner vision is complete, it begins to draw all the pieces necessary to fulfill itself. People, ideas, and resources start aligning as if by coincidence, but it is not coincidence, it is divine orchestration. The universe recognizes spiritual completion. Once the picture is whole in your spirit, nothing can stop its manifestation. The reason many never see results is that they keep rebuilding and breaking their inner vision with doubt. One day they believe, The next they question. But creation requires consistency. You must hold the picture until it becomes more real to you than what you see. Faith does not chase results. It becomes the result in seed form. It creates by resting in knowing. When your inner world is settled, the outer world cannot resist its command. Beck, as what has been finished in the spirit must appear in time, not by chance, but by divine law. The mind anchored in peace becomes a divine magnet. Anxiety repels, but calm expectation attracts. Peace is not just a feeling, it is a frequency. It is the vibration of alignment between your spirit and the divine will. When your mind is anchored in peace, you send out a signal to the universe that says, I already have what I need. That signal draws abundance, opportunity, and favor toward you. It is the stillness of inner confidence that opens invisible doors. But when you are filled with worry and fear, you emit confusion. Anxiety pushes away the very things you are asking for, because it declares through emotion that you do not believe they will come. Many think they must strive harder, work faster, or push more to attract success. But spiritual law operates differently. The universe, like water, flows toward peace. When your heart is restless, you create turbulence that distorts why. A vision and blocks divine flow. When you quiet your mind and rest in faith, you become magnetic. You stop chasing, and what you were chasing begins to move toward you. This is why peace is not weakness. It is power under control. It is the highest expression of trust. A peaceful mind is a creative mind. Inspiration does not visit a storm. It visits still waters. When your inner world is calm, ideas come easily. You begin to hear divine instruction clearly. Confusion fades and clarity rises. Many people pray for direction but live in noise, mental noise, emotional noise, spiritual noise. They cannot receive guidance because peace has been replaced by panic. Yet peace is the atmosphere where divine wisdom thrives. In peace, you see possibilities that fear could never reveal. Calm expectation is faith in motion. It is the posture of someone who knows that manifestation is already unfolding, even when nothing seems to happen. You are not trying to make things happen, you are allowing them to appear in perfect time. This kind of peace cannot be faked. It is born from revelation. The understanding that your life is guided, your provision is assured, and your steps are ordered. When you carry this peace, people can feel it around you. It changes the way you speak, walk, and decide. You become stable in a shaking world. Anxiety, however, sends mixed signals. It prays one thing but feels another. It says, I believe, but the emotion behind it says, I fear. The spirit world responds to emotion more than words. That is why Jesus could sleep in a storm. His peace was greater than the waves. That peace carried authority. In the same way, when you remain at rest within, the external chaos cannot dominate you. You begin to command life by stillness, not by struggle. The mind that lives in peace is already in the flow of abundance. It does not chase outcomes because it knows all good things gravitate toward harmony. Peace is the language of faith, and wherever faith is at rest, miracles begin to move. What you stop chasing begins to follow you, because pursuit born of fear creates resistance, but surrender born of faith opens divine flow. There is a hidden law of the Spirit that many overlook. The more you chase something out of desperation, the further it seems to move away. This is not punishment, it is reflection. The universe mirrors your inner state. When your desire is mixed with fear, it carries a vibration of lack, and lack cannot attract abundance. The energy of pursuit says, I don't have it yet, and that declaration keeps you in a cycle of waiting. But when you release the chase, not by giving up, but by trusting, You enter the flow where things begin to come to you without struggle. Fear-based pursuit always begins with the belief that what you desire is separate from you. You think, if I could just get there, if I could just have that, I'd be fulfilled. That mindset turns your dream into a distant object, always ahead, never within reach. But when you shift your awareness and realize that everything you seek already exists within the divine connection inside you, your energy changes. You move from chasing to attracting, from striving to allowing. Faith does not run after things. It recognizes that things are already drawn to faith. Surrender does not mean passivity. It means alignment. It is the moment you stop trying to control outcomes and start trusting the divine process. It is saying, I will take inspired action, but I will not act from panic. I will move, but I will not chase. When your actions come from peace, they are powerful. When they come from fear, they are empty. Life responds to the energy behind your actions, not just the actions themselves. There are people who work endlessly, yet remain in circles of frustration. They are always busy, but rarely advancing. That is the result of fearful pursuit. Effort disconnected from divine flow. But those who learn to let go, to trust the timing, to stay centered, begin to witness acceleration that cannot be explained. It seems like what they once struggled for begins to find them. New connections, financial increase, divine opportunities. This is the power of surrender. It does not weaken your pursuit, it sanctifies it. When you stop chasing, your spirit rests, and in that rest, your true magnetic power awakens. The things that once ran from you start turning toward you because peace carries authority. The moment you no longer need the thing to feel complete, it becomes safe to approach you. This is the paradox of divine flow. Detachment invites manifestation. As long as you cling in fear, you repel what you want. But when you release with trust, everything aligned with your purpose begins to move in your direction. Faith-filled surrender is not about losing desire, it is about elevating it. You still expect good things, but your expectation is calm, not frantic. You know what belongs to you cannot pass you by. And when your heart finally releases the chase, the flow of heaven begins to carry to you what striving never could. So now, quiet your heart and remember, you are not chasing blessings. You are becoming the vessel through which they flow. What you seek is already seeking you. Stand in peace, speak with faith, and walk as though it is already done. When your spirit is still, heaven moves swiftly. The moment you release control, divine order takes over, and what once seemed impossible begins to appear effortlessly before your eyes.